beyond words, using photo-elicitation for data acquisition within positive contexts. My name is Deborah Richards and I am a registered nurse. I am very new to research and feeling that, despite my professional competency as a nurse and lecturer, I know so very little about entering this world of qualitative research. Although I am reliably informed otherwise by my colleague, mentor and research supervisor that my transferable skills will well equip me for what lies ahead. According to my mind map, I'm yet to be convinced, but let me press on. My presentation steps you through my formative approach of the concept development of my soon-to-be 4-year journey towards a higher research degree. An introduction to storytelling, the importance of research. Storytelling is a powerful tool for conveying complex human experiences and emotions. It allows for a deeper understanding of lived experiences, especially in qualitative research. Conveying information via this method provides a rich description with an emphasis on capturing the perspective of the persons experiencing the event. But why am I telling you about storytelling, and how does this connect to research? Let me step you back into my narrative. Working and living in a regional community with remote satellite communities forms part of my community nursing role. While I am familiar with my area, it is far from the mainstream capital cities of Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane. More than 72% of Australia's population reside in major cities. So given that most nurses reside in highly populated areas, there is a scarcity of nurses embarking on the urban to rural shift. Why? It seems that all qualitative research returns to this why question. The context of my project relates to the phenomenon of nurses who take on contract work in regional, remote and very remote environments. My research question seeks to reveal the experiences of novice travel nurses and their perspectives on regional, remote and very remote locality contracts. Developing the research question with PICO. Using a traditional PICO framework, I will step you through the components that have informed my research question. The participants are nurses who have lived and worked in large cities with no prior experience in regional or remote communities. The intervention is enhancing their employment scope through becoming agency nurses or, using the popular term, travel nurses. The target cohort are registered nurses who reside for a period of time outside their familiar big city lifestyle. The comparison relates to nurses who have geographical familiarity with regional and remote lifestyles. The outcome is to reveal the range of perceptions of the regional and remote travel nurse role. Methodology and method. Contextualization of the lived experience. My research is centered on portraying the experience of the travel nurse, contextualized in Australia within regional, remote and very remote communities. In essence, excuse the pun for those familiar with the work of Husserl, This study is underpinned by a philosophical framework of phenomenology, specifically descriptive phenomenology, as shaped by Edmund Husserl. My intended project explores the experiences of the novice travel nurse to capture the good, the positive, along with the bad, the ugly, and often the stark reality of life in the bush, as experienced by the traditional city slicker nurse, exploring their transition into a new world of regional remote and very remote travel nursing, with the analysis of their experiences revealing the essence of the phenomenon. What is the relevance to travel nurses? This brings me to the so what factor. What then is the importance of this study? Social media such as TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and a multitude of other platforms show a romanticised, blemish-free and AI-enhanced perspective of the increasingly popular world of the travel nurse. Social media is a form of storytelling. Like most things on social media, the reality may be far from the truth. My study seeks to explore the range of experiences, the good, the bad, the downright ugly, and the wonder, and potentially the gratification that captures the sense of awe and fulfillment that comes with new experiences and achievements. The research seeks to illuminate previously unknown or uncaptured experiences in a unique way. So why specifically regional remote and very remote localities? Regional remote and very remote communities face significant disadvantages in social determinants of health, contributing to significantly poorer health outcomes for those communities. Predominantly, the shortage of professionally qualified healthcare professionals remains a core factor of inequality and disadvantage for these outlying communities. Capacity building, recruitment and retention of nurses is critical. Increasing the number of skilled and motivated health workers through building a stable workforce, improved recruitment strategies, community engagement, and creating supportive working environments are essential. These strategies help attract healthcare professionals willing to serve in remote areas and retain them by fostering a sense of belonging and purpose. One of the primary responses for early termination of a contract or reduced interest in considering regional and remote areas is culture shock. As this presentation highlights, the objective of the chosen method of data collection and storytelling through photo-elicitation and videography, including soundscapes, is to deepen the narrative of travel nurses' experiences. Storytelling is an ideal method to capture firsthand the diverse environments in rural and remote Australia. It helps capture the nuances and stark differences of perception versus the reality of the nurses' encounters. The point of difference. What makes this project different is that photo and videography elicitation is the primary data source, with the traditional interview forming part of the validity, rigor and triangulation process. The didactic component becomes a secondary source of information. Once the phenomenon's essence is revealed, strategies to emphasize the benefits and interventions to mitigate the challenges of this popular form of contract nursing can be translated into recommendations for relevant stakeholders. This facilitates the planning and securing of a sustainable workforce for vulnerable regional and remote communities that remain underserviced by modification to the working environment and employment conditions. In this way, storytelling becomes a powerful tool for advocacy, engaging stakeholders and policymakers by highlighting lived experiences through compelling narratives. Through improving policies and resources in underserviced areas, photo and videographic elicitation not only enriches qualitative research and addresses a void in the knowledge, but also serves as a tool for social change and policy advocacy. Nurses' situations become better understood, communities are strengthened, and the shocking social problem of social determinants of health, such as lack of access to health services and healthcare providers, is bridged. Enhancing depth analysis of the images. The definition and purpose. Storytelling using photographs in conjunction with traditional interviews enhances the audience's understanding by providing visual stimuli that provoke emotions and therefore yields deeper insight into the experience. This approach allows participants to capture their experiences, perspectives, and social issues through photographs, which are then used to tell their stories. So what am I going to do with these images? How will they be translated into usable information? Let's commence with the analysis. Many may be familiar with Collas's analysis method, which is a structured approach used in qualitative research, particularly in phenomenological studies, to analyze participants' lived experiences. This method, refined by Collas, is designed to provide a rigorous process for extracting and interpreting meaningful insights from qualitative data, typically gathered through in-depth interviews. A modification to Collas's traditional method to accommodate the use of photo-elicitation and videography will be used in my project. This modification continues to build on the earlier works of Edwards and Welch, who assimilated inclusion of elicitations. That was further enhanced by Lane-Krebs, who embraced the usefulness of videography, soundscapes, tactile and other non-traditional information. A brief explanation of the analysis process requires the researcher to be continually immersed in the data and explore the encapsulated meaning. The researcher seeks statements of significance and emerging themes in this non-traditional data set. The goal is to arrive at the core nature or fundamental qualities of the experience as perceived and described by the travel nurse. The saying, "A picture tells 1,000 words," is particularly relevant to understanding the experience of travel nurses through storytelling with photos and videos. Visual media captures the nuances of their experiences more vividly than words alone. Photos and videos convey emotion and display the work and life environment, that is, the physical world. Over time, the story is anticipated to depict the adaptability required to the unique environments where the participating nurses found themselves, providing a richer, more immediate insight into their daily lives and professional journeys. This visual storytelling produces a deeper level understanding of the nurse's experiences. The application in travel nursing. And here is the what's the point connection. Upon analysis, the advantages and challenges identified can be formed into recommendations that advocate for change in potential areas of how the travel nurse image is sold to nurses and provides a reality check. The outcome is to inform potential nurses considering travelling to these new locations about the experienced challenges, impart transitional coping skills, and ultimately promote the benefits to the nurse and the community. Overall, this makes the transition easier. If the nurse is assisted through the initial culture shock, it is more likely they will fulfill their contract, and there is a higher chance they will enjoy and develop a sense of belonging to the community, with a view to remaining longer in a nursing role in that location. The advantages. Images bring powerful knowledge. Power brings change. The research output encompasses accessing tacit knowledge and uncovering hidden aspects of the travel nurse's professional and personal journeys. Amplifying the voice of travel nurses, empowering narratives. Let's consider purpose. This project is about capturing marginalised or less heard voices, the experiences and perceptions. The initial thoughts of the nurse's arrival in an unfamiliar locality with sights and sounds not previously encountered. The adage of rags to riches comes to mind, but the reality could also be riches to rags. The under-equipped regional hospitals lack staffing. Most uses of photo-elicitation are commonly associated with negative contexts or the misery narratives, often emerging in medical and nursing contexts. For example, Gabordi et al. Explored homelessness in a cross-European setting. These are depictions with negative implications. Some works have utilised this positive outcome context, such as cultural studies, sociology, and education. Examples of this include children's development and literacy, sociology in understanding social context and culture, and impacts on marketing strategies. However, research tells us that coping skills and resilience is acquired over time in many situations. This being the case, initial perceptions may well undergo a transformation and become a positive experience. Potential questions include: what is the travel nurse's experience? What are their initial perceptions? When does overwhelming become familiarity, or does it? So what is the relevance to travel nurses and communities? Photo-elicitation is a method to collect and share travel nurses' unique challenges and insights from working in diverse settings advocating for better policies and resources in underserved areas. This method allows consideration of how had the regional remote or very remote experience been sold to them. Reality versus expectations. What are the challenges? What makes it fulfilling? What makes it an adventure and exhilarating? How can nurses be better prepared for such experiences? I mentioned earlier the term culture shock, which refers to the impact of moving from a familiar culture to an unfamiliar one. City-dwelling nurses who move to regional and remote communities often experience culture shock due to the stark differences in lifestyle, social dynamics, and healthcare infrastructure. These environments may lack the advanced medical facilities and resources typical of urban settings, requiring nurses to adapt to more generalized roles and resource-constrained conditions. Additionally, the social isolation, slower pace, and close-knit community dynamics can be challenging for those accustomed only to city life. If not anticipated, this adjustment period may affect their professional confidence and personal lives, requiring significant resilience and adaptability to thrive in their new surroundings. Or the alternative of early termination of the contract and a hasty retreat back to the city lights. From a nursing knowledge base, different regions may have unique health challenges, such as endemic diseases or specific health needs related to a local population. Understanding these factors helps nurses prepare for the types of medical conditions they may encounter. For example, higher rates incident increasing with remoteness exist for smoking, internet partner violence, diabetes, substance misuse, and reduced antenatal care and birth support. Additionally, awareness of cultural norms, language differences, and resource availability is crucial for delivering culturally competent care and navigating the healthcare system effectively. Proper preparation reduces the likelihood of culture shock and enhances the nurse's ability to adapt and perform efficiently. Gaining an understanding of the contributors to culture shock allows for the development of strategies to facilitate integration and assimilation into the new environment, which benefits the nurse and the community. Understanding is gained through the perspective of the newly arrived travel nurse and their perceptions. The travel nurse's stories, the good, the bad, all require exploration. Photo and video elicitation enriches qualitative research and serves as a tool for social change and policy advocacy. There are emerging recommendations in qualitative research to further explore the lived experiences of individuals within regional and remote communities. What are these potential barriers and challenges? Well, this is what my research is going to discover. Understanding and reaching beyond. As I am reliably informed, any project needs to build upon what its predecessors have achieved. So to find this out, a scope and review of the literature was undertaken. A scope and review takes a broad context or considers a broad landscape. It is a standard method used to map what is currently known on a specific topic, and so the void or gap in the literature identifies what remains left to be discovered. Also, it helps to identify new ways in which knowledge can be discovered. Scoping reviews are frequently used in phenomenological research. So how has storytelling through photo-elicitation and videography been used previously? As mentioned, with understanding cultural impacts, understanding traumatic experiences, homelessness and others. The point of difference is that the traditional method of information collation is most often the interview. In this project, the traditional method of an interview is not the primary source of data. To ensure correctness and validity, subsequent interviews with the participants to achieve member checking will be included in the process. The imagery that stitches together to tell the story is the primary source of capturing the experience of the phenomenon. Research outcomes. Where to now? Integrating narratives to inform policy. Research findings require actions to be considered. We can either decide to change nothing about the way travel nursing is currently marketed and experienced, or promote the benefits of travel nursing to increase the uptake of nurses into regional or remote areas, or, potentially and most beneficial of all, make intending nurses aware of the challenges and develop strategies to create awareness or mitigate these barriers to facilitate professional and personal fulfillment. These actions can be translated into policy and practice. Implications for policy and practice. The findings from analysing these rich narratives can inform better healthcare policies, resource allocation, and support systems for nurses in diverse settings. So, conclusion and future directions. As the presentation draws to a close, my research will seek to anticipate lifestyle variances in a new geographical location, which will then contribute to effective care provision at a community level and safeguard the nurse's well-being. My parting message is, let's be proactive and make the change, providing the tools for nurses to flourish in new environments. Thank you.